Hey guys, today we're going to talk about something really heavy, aka self-hatred. Now, this is not necessarily pornography related, but I think it's an important issue to address as it is pretty common among porn addicts, and as it can fuel their misery. It's one of those things that creeps up on you, sometimes slowly, other times like a punch to the gut. Maybe you wake up one day and realize you've been carrying it around for years. Or perhaps it's more like a shadow that follows you everywhere you go. The truth is, self-hatred is a beast that can mess with every part of your life, from your relationships to your mental health and even how you see the world. In this video, I want to help you understand where it comes from and why it's got such a grip on you. So let's talk about the reasons you might be feeling this way and, more importantly, how you can start to fix it. Number 1, when self-hatred feels justified. Sometimes, self-hatred feels justified because maybe you really did something wrong. Maybe you hurt someone you care about, made a huge mistake, or did something that you just can't forgive yourself for. It's like you're wearing a label that says, I deserve this. First off, I want you to know that beating yourself up forever won't change what happened. You've got to look at it straight on and own it. Acknowledge what you did, but don't stop there. Figure out how to make amends. Apologize if you need to, fix what you can, and learn from it. Self-forgiveness is tough, but it's crucial. You can't move forward if you're always looking back. Write down what happened, what you've learned, and what you're doing differently now. Then, every time that old self-hatred voice pops up, remind yourself that you're working on it and you're allowed to move on. Your past has zero importance and has zero power over you. The only thing that matters is what you're gonna do now. And I'm a big believer that you should act like it doesn't even exist. Because in a way, it really doesn't. Number 2, regret over something you did or didn't do. Regret is like this nagging itch you can't scratch. Whether it's something you did or something you wish you'd done, it can be a massive trigger for self-hatred. But first, you've got to recognize that regret is universal. We all have moments we wish we could do over. But here's the trick. Use that regret as a teacher, not a torturer. What can you learn from that experience? How can you do better next time? Turn your regrets into fuel for positive change. One powerful technique is to reframe the regret. Ask yourself, what did this teach me? Or how did this experience help shape who I am today? Even if the lesson was hard, it's still a lesson that adds to your growth. Also, make peace with the fact that you can't change the past. You can only change how you let it affect your present and future. Practice mindfulness to stay grounded in the here and now, rather than getting lost in the what could have been. Number 3, when you don't like the person you are. Your self-hatred can stem from feeling like you're just not good enough. Maybe you look in the mirror and don't like what you see, or you compare yourself to others and feel like you're falling short. It's this deep dissatisfaction with who you are at your core. And honestly, this one's tough, but it's where real change happens. First, you need to identify what exactly you don't like about yourself. Is it your appearance, your habits, your personality? Get specific, because vague dissatisfaction will just keep eating at you without giving you any way to address it. Once you know what it is, start working on it step by step. If it's something you can change, make a plan to improve. If it's something you can't change, like your height or past experiences, work on acceptance. This doesn't mean giving up. It means recognizing that your worth isn't tied to those things. Find a role model to learn from, without constantly comparing yourself to them. Great way to improve your life. And remember to give yourself credit where it's due. We're often our harshest critics, and we focus so much on what we don't like that we tend to overlook our strengths. So make a list of things you do like about yourself, no matter how small, and add to it regularly. Lastly, surround yourself with positive influences. If you're constantly comparing yourself to people on social media or in your life, take a step back. Focus on being the best version of you, not a copy of someone else. Number 4, dealing with shame. Shame is a very powerful emotion, and it's often tied to self-hatred. Maybe there's something in your past or something about yourself that you're deeply ashamed of. And that shame turns inward, making you feel like you're fundamentally flawed. Shame thrives in secrecy. The more you hide what you're ashamed of, the stronger it grows. So the first step is to bring it into the light. This doesn't mean you have to broadcast it to the world, but talk about it with someone you trust, because shame loses its power when it's shared. Next, work on self-compassion. Treat yourself the way you would treat a friend who is struggling with the same issue. Would you judge them as harshly as you judge yourself? Probably not. So why not offer yourself that same kindness? And remember, shame is not your identity. It's an emotion, and like all emotions, it can be worked through. Focus on separating your actions from your self-worth. Just because you did something you're ashamed of doesn't mean you are that thing. Number 5, negative self-talk, aka your favorite habit and one of the most destructive thing you could inflict yourself with. Negative self-talk is like a broken record that keeps playing the same hurtful messages over and over. I'll never succeed. I'm garbage. I always fail. No one will ever love me. It's the inner critic that never seems to shut up, and it's a major driver of self-hatred. It can completely rot your mindset, and as a consequence, rot your life. The first step is to catch it when it happens. Often, we're so used to this negative self-talk that we don't even realize it's happening. Start paying attention to your thoughts, especially in moments of stress or failure. Write them down if it helps. Once you're aware of these negative thoughts, challenge them. Are they really true? What evidence do you have? Often these thoughts are based on fear or insecurity rather than facts. Then replace those negative thoughts with positive affirmations. This might feel cheesy at first, but it's about reprogramming your brain to focus on your strengths instead of your weaknesses. Every time you catch yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," counter it with, "I'm doing my absolute best and that is enough." If possible, try to surround yourself with positivity. Whether it's positive people, uplifting content, or simply spending time doing things you enjoy. Number 6, lack of confidence. Self-hatred and lack of confidence often go hand in hand. When you don't believe in yourself, it's easy to fall into a cycle of self-doubt and self-criticism. This lack of confidence can stem from past failures, harsh criticism from others, or just a general feeling of inadequacy. And the truth is, building confidence takes time, but it's worth the effort. Start by setting small, achievable goals. Each time you accomplish one, you're giving yourself proof that you can succeed, which gradually builds your ego. Another key is to step out of your comfort zone. Confidence grows when you push your boundaries, even if it's just a little bit at a time. Try something new, take risks, and when you succeed, or even if you don't, recognize that you had the courage to try. It's also important to stop comparing yourself to others. Each individual's journey is unique, and comparing yourself to someone else's highlight will only bring you down. Focus on your progress and celebrate your wins, no matter how small they may seem. And don't forget to practice positive self-talk, as mentioned earlier. The way you talk to yourself can either build your confidence or destroy it. Make a conscious effort to be your own biggest cheerleader instead of your harshest critic. Number 7, cultivating a growth mindset. A fixed mindset, the belief that your abilities and intelligence are static and unchangeable, can fuel self-hatred, especially when you encounter failure or setbacks. If you believe that you're inherently flawed and incapable of growth, it's easy to fall into a cycle of self-loathing. Instead, cultivating a growth mindset can transform how you view yourself and your potential. A growth mindset is the belief that you can improve and develop through effort, learning, and perseverance. When you adopt this mindset, failures and mistakes become opportunities for growth rather than proof of inadequacy. To develop such mindset, start by embracing challenges instead of avoiding them. See difficulties as a chance to learn something new and understand that failure is necessary part of success. Praise yourself for your effort and persistence rather than just the outcome. And be open to feedback. Instead of taking criticism personally, use it as a tool for improvement. This approach not only reduces self-hatred, but also empowers you to take control of your personal and professional growth. Conclusion: dealing with self-hatred is not a one-time fix. It's about learning to understand, to forgive, and to love yourself, even if it seems impossible at the beginning. And that can take a lot of time. Not that long ago, I had chronic self-hatred, insanely negative self-talk, and low confidence. I accumulated so much unjustified hatred toward myself that sometimes I could barely breathe, as if my heart was shrinking. But the worst thing is that if you're a real freak like I was, you'll find this situation to be comfortable. I'm a loser. I'm not up to the task. I will never achieve anything great. I don't deserve this. You will feel comfortable, because now that you've sealed your fate, you don't expect anything from yourself anymore. You traded the burden of performance for the burden of depression. And later you'll trade it for the burden of regret. That's why self-hatred is so harmful. It's because it can literally destroy your future. So I really want you guys to understand something. Everyone has its inner demons, and still, you have the right to be loved and respected. So embrace your imperfections, learn from your mistakes, and keep pushing to be who you want to be. You've got this. Also, if you don't do it already, I strongly encourage you to have creative hobbies, like writing, drawing, or playing music. even if you're not a natural. That way, you'll be able to process your emotions and create something unique and peculiar to your personality. And I know from experience that it's an incredibly efficient way to reinforce your sense of self and build your ego. Alright, this is the end of the video. If you liked it, you can smash that like button. And if you need to take a weight off your mind, tell about your feelings, your situation, or your traumas, let me know in the comments section. Thank you for watching, stay strong, talk to you soon.